You're looking at me, so I guess I did that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry if I missed you.
You know, this is my first time here, and I'm listening to all these questions, and my feeling is that you're here because, and we're here because we all believe in most of the same things that irritate us. I mean, we know how you're gonna go on it, so instead of a question, I voted for you because you didn't go negative with your ads. And my suggestion would be, don't go negative, stay with the issues of employment, and be careful of social issues. That's what will divide people. And all this other stuff, I'm just as frustrated, and I'm scared. That's why I'm here, because we are going socialist. So my reason for me coming is, how do we get you in office? And like I said, the other guy that voted against you in his primary, he had more ads, he sounded more educated, he had business, he had all these good things, but as soon as you started running your ads, he went negative, and he lost me at that point, and you didn't, and that's why I voted for you. So my suggestion would be, the guy you're gonna vote or run against, he's gonna bring out your skeletons. Let him do it, you stay on the issues and stay positive, and I think that's going to be...
That's one of the nicest things I've had anybody say to me in the campaign. I will respectfully disagree that he was more educated than I was. He might have been more successful.
No, I don't know that he was, but he talked like he was fully...
We had 3 debates, and watch any of the debates. There was one here not in Mesquite, but in Overton, right? Overton. And there was one in Ralston, and there was one on who held it? The Trump. Anyways, and you can pick and choose you want. But this is the thing. Everything you said is so true, and I've lost in some previous races. I didn't go negative my Secretary of State or State Senate races, and the other people did. They said I was involved in telemarketing fraud. I went to court. I proved it not only was a lie, it was defamatory, and I won that, but they won. I was in the U.S. Senate race, and Sharon Angle and Sue Loudon were negative against each other, and I didn't go negative, and I didn't win there either. Something tells you that if you stay positive all the time in interviews, you lose it, and that's unfortunate because they should be talking about the positive things of what you want. I stayed positive in the primary, and I felt that was the right thing to do. First of all, this guy who ran those TV ads against me just moved to Nevada. He made all of his money in China. If you ever wanted to hit him in a negative ad, all you had to do was run the Ralston debate where he talked about, he actually said that he thought each person should have $1,000 government subsidy to pay their health insurance. And that would solve the problem because then people would save how much they spent in it. There's a bunch of things he did. But the point is, you didn't need to, in the primary, you hope people were going to understand stuff. Now, what hurt me more, and I want to get is, nobody's asked me all the gun issue stuff, we're going to get to that. But the lady who ran against me did that stuff, okay? And she knows that's wrong. The lady who ran against me was Barbara Sagaski, and her and I have been very close, and she knows exactly what happened in that issue. And she chose to attack me on that, which I'll get to next. She attacked me because I had the head of the NAACP endorsed. You know, the head of the NAACP is Frank Hawkins, football player for the Oakland Raiders. I went to school against him, knew him growing up. The guy has the courage. He runs, imagine this, he runs for re-election in the NAACP in November of this next year. And he's going to come out and endorse a Caucasian running against a black in Congress, would be the first black congressman in the state of Nevada. I mean, what we ought to do is say, what a courageous guy this guy is, and what a great asset he is for me. Instead, because he's endorsed me, I'm a liberal. And then she says that I'm a liberal because I gave a donation of $1,000 to Shelley Berkeley in 1999 before anybody knew what kind of votes she would pass. Shelley Berkeley was a board of regent for UNLV in 1992 when they forced my dad to resign, and she was only one of 2 board of regents who stood up and fought against my dad's ouster. I certainly was going to support somebody who I didn't know their voting record before that time period. So these are the type of negative ads that happen. But let's look at what happened. I was beating everybody by almost 40% coming in early voting. They hit me with these negative ads, and I went by 4%. So the negative ads work, or do they not work?
Well, I agree. Negative ads sure do sound like they do some work. But I know why I voted for you, because you didn't go negative. The polls already say 90% of people in this country already know who they're going to vote for. You're after that 10%. That 10%, they're the ones that don't have jobs. That's what they want to hear. It's the independents. So if you stay on the issues, the economy and the jobs, stay away from the social issues, and don't go negative.
We're going to talk about jobs, debt, jobs, government spending, and housing, and that's what we're going to talk about. And we will not run a negative ad, but this is what the case is going to, I doubt he'll run a negative ad. He better not, because he needs to run some positives on himself, because he's got a lot of issues out there. The thing that's going to happen is this, and this is what's happening in our political race. I haven't forgot the guns thing, we'll get to that. What happens in our political race now is these third-party groups get in, and in our race, the Democratic Congressional Committee, the DCC, I don't know what the initials are for, it's DCCC, they were always going to come into this race because they felt this was their seat and they got to protect Forestburg. They're going to come after me and attack me and all kinds of crazy stuff. Okay, I didn't know if the my party would support me or not. I got in the race blindfolded. But they saw the way we ran our campaign, they saw how organized it is, I think they saw the kind of can I am, and they saw the polls that have come out, and I'm beating Horsford by 6% at this point in the race. With that, they have made a commitment that they're going to come in now, and they're going to go after Horsford. So you're going to have these two groups just beating the crap out of both of us. And by the time it's all over, I won't like myself, Horsford probably won't like himself. The only problem is most of it's going to be true about Horsford, and none of it's going to be true about me. The things that they say, but that's the way it works. It's unfortunate. I'm going to tell you the other thing too.
It is, but be careful the ones where it says, my name's Danny Tarkanian and I endorse this ad. That's the one you got to stay away from.
You'll see, I got so much money I can run ads on, and they got to be good about me. Let me tell you the thing that's unfortunate about this whole thing is, and I mean this wholeheartedly, I got a 9-year-old daughter right now. I got 2 7-year-olds. My 7-year-olds still don't quite understand everything. My 2.5 boy, he'll think I'm the greatest no matter what, wherever.
He left.
Imagine a 9-year-old daughter, who I love her death. My first daughter named after my mother, and she's going to go to school and she's going to have her classmates tell her, did your dad really do this? Was your dad a crook? Did he do this? Did he do that? And then you want to run for office and put your family through that stuff? Brian Sandoval told me that when he ran for AG the first time, how difficult it was for him. And I think that's one reason why he took the federal judgeship. It makes it tough to want to run when you got to go through that stuff. But I got 9 years invested in what I'm doing right now. I've taken shots that nobody's taken. You know, when I stood up for myself, I went to court and defended myself with a defamation lawsuit. Only after I won did somebody else, Bob Beers, decide to do it. There was another instance about saying I practiced law without license that wasn't true. I went to the Supreme Court, got that changed. I stood up and challenged myself. I've invested too much to back down for where I'm at, and I know my family's going to take a hit, but we're going to have to live with it because I believe that this is going to be my year to win, and we're going to win it. Let's talk about the guns thing in a second. There isn't anybody that's ever ran for office that has been more maligned for gun issues unfairly than I have, and I'm, at the point of just fed up with it. I had a great guy, Greg Hafen, endorse me in the primary, and I had to have him call me in the morning. Tell me his close friends of his questioned why he'd make that endorsement because I'm anti-guns. And I was embarrassed. I got to sit here and explain to him what happened when it's been so ridiculous. I ran for Secretary of State's race in 2006. I filled out my application. First of all, I filled out my form in the state senate with the NRA and got a perfect score. In the Secretary of State's race, I missed one question on a registration issue that I would have took back, but I missed it, so I had to live with it. I got a C on missing the one question. We have Friday before the election on Tuesday, I get a call from somebody saying the NRA just gave you an F and they're doing an auto call saying to vote for your opponent. So I called the NRA lady up. Her name was Carrie out of Sacramento. I said, what are you doing? I'm a life member of the NRA. I fully support the NRA. You know my position. Why would you do that? She said, well, you had the Brady people come out and endorse you. I said, no, I did not. I don't even know the Brady people. I never talked with them. That's not true. She said, well, it came out. So I'm thinking, well, maybe my opponent did this. It certainly didn't come from me. After the race ends, so anyway, they give me an F. So after the race ends, we find out the Brady people acknowledge. I never spoke with them. They never spoke with me. They said they spoke to a volunteer that was working on my camp, and they're the ones who asked them for this thing. They admit they never spoke with me, and I never authorized it, never asked for it. I repudiated it as soon as it happened. 2010, I ran for Senate, and Sue Lowder did the same thing. She said, oh, Danny Tarkanian got an F by the NRA, and so I filled out my application with the NRA. First of all, I met with the guy. I go down to Washington, D.C. I met with I believe it was still Keene at that time. It was Keene at that time. It's Keene now. And I explained to him the whole situation. He said, I understand this thing happens. Fine. I do my application, get an A in it. They give me a C. They said, well, we can't give you an A because we had an F, and you got to make your F into a C. That's not the worst of it. That's not the worst, so I'm offended when anyone's gonna sit here and I guess some of you guys question my stuff, because I'm so upset. Listen, I gotta see, so I live with it, okay, I'll live with the C, we'll move on, that's what they're saying, but I met with the guy. This race, we knew again, they're gonna come after me with the NRA, it's not true. So first of all, I repudiated it again, I put it on my website. There's never been one thing ever stated by me, writing, verbal, or otherwise, that's ever said the question was, I wanted to ban assault weapons, when even the questionnaire that they gave me to see on, that I missed the one, I said I was against it. And the NRA had that questionnaire before that auto call, and they still did that. So anyway, so I had an A in this election, right? I go in, I meet with Keene again. Keene today, we understand completely, we know you're gonna win the primary, we need you to be horse for these anti-guns, we'll be okay with it. Well, next thing I know, the guy, and he makes it sound like they're gonna endorse me. So next thing I know, he's gone, he's on a fishing trip and nobody could reach him, and Barbara says she's got the endorsement, and we're saying, what happened? Next thing I know, I got a C+. How did I get a C+? I mean, yeah, with my CNA, I should have got a B. And they gave me a C+. And they haven't even explained why yet. So we tried to reach out again and go meet with them again in DC after the general election, and they haven't met with me yet. Now, why in the world would I still be considered anti-gun when I'm a life member of the NRA, Golden Eagle member of the NRA, repudiated everything that Brady people did? Every questionnaire that I've said has been a positive one, except for one question on registration. I've got to sit here and spend 10 minutes explaining to you people here why I'm pro-Second Amendment, and why I got to explain to Craig Hayford on the phone in extreme embarrassment why I'm in support of the Second Amendment when he had the courage to step up and help me. You know, it's really disappointing. Anyway, that's the deal. Anything else?